Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Friday, March the 7th, to the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. We're glad to have you today. Today's topics are going to be our open forum. This is the opportunity for you to say, here's my challenges, here's my difficulties, here's where I need help, and here's where the rest of us can say, well, let me tell you what I've done, and here's some experience that I've had, and so we can help each other. So this is definitely a networking and helping session today for everyone that's here. Be glad to have you participate as well. So be thinking about the questions you have and the challenges you have so that when we get to the main event, when we start the open forum, you'll be ready to get some answers. Be glad to have you here today. So note that we are recording this event, and this is the wrong slide. We don't do YouTube, but yeah, we do the Career USA YouTube channel. So we'll upload that in the future. And by participating in this event, you give permission for us to use your name and picture. Don't worry about the Zoom chat. That will not appear anywhere. So the questions and items and information you put into the chat window are not recorded. Just let you know that right now, Jeff Morris is our leader and he's out recovering. And so Matt Keelan and I are volunteering to lead this group until he returns. He's on track. We look for to him soon. I can't wait till he comes in and says, Walt, you are fired. I'm glad to have him take back over. So Matt, say hello this morning.
Good morning.
We'll introduce ourselves a little bit later in a little bit more detail as well. All right, just to let you know about Jeff, he started facilitating this group back in 2007. His story is that the person that was leading the group got a job, and so he scratched his ear, and that was his volunteering to take over the job. So he's been leading this group for many years. He created the careerdfw.org website. If you are new to the job search or anyone who does not know about that website, it is an absolute must that you go look at the resources that are available at careerdfw.org. Then in 2012, it was careerusa.org. And so now it's not only in the DFW area, but it's where anybody can hook up and be online through the internet. He also wrote a book, What I've Learned About Your Job Search That You May Not Know. It's a great snippet of many presenters that he's had over the years. And here's the kind of the golden nuggets out of each one. And you put that in a book. It's a great book. You can find that also on Amazon if you're interested in that. And he also serves as a member of the pit crew. And we'll talk about the pit crew in a few moments. So since it is the first Friday of the month, Jeff always announces that careerdfw.org and this group are two different organizations, right? So careerdfw.org belongs to Jeff. He happens to lead this group. As he claims it, says you can take over leadership of the group, but you can't take careerdfw.org out of his hands. And so it's a great resource that he does. Also, that is a 501c3. Is that C? Is it 3C or C3?
C3.
It's a C3 nonprofit. So for those of you who would like to donate, and we suggest after you get your job, you got some money coming in, that if you wish to donate, here's a QR code for the, and I'll put that up again at the very end for those of you who might want to remember what that is. And if you register with your company, you can get a matching donation. So everybody is a volunteer in the organization. No one makes any money out of this particular group. All right. So notice that this group is also a networking group. We're going to spend a lot of time with that today. And so I suggest that you turn on your camera so that we see your presence and make sure your full name is displayed on Zoom. So let's see your smiling face. Today, I've got to try to remember to smile. It's one of the biggest things I need to do is to remember to smile. All right. So today our agenda, success stories, job leads, and a 30-second introduction, the committee reports for the interview success workshop pit crew, and the career tip of the week, as we standardly do. So anyone have any landing announcements to make? I see a hand up. You got the microphone?
Yeah, this is Marshall Gully. I just landed.
Come on up to the.
Okay. Just landed officially. I got to work Wednesday. I did my onboarding, and then Wednesday and Thursday, and then basically I'm trying to take the day off before I start Monday. I can't say that I used anything fancy or there was any real genius to me getting this job. Truthfully, it was persistence. To quote Taylor Tomlinson, She said, you know, when you try to motivate a young person who still believes, you can do it. You can be anything you want to be. When you're talking to an old person, you go, you can do it, because what other choice do you have? And that was me. It really was. This job search was tough. Holidays were in the way, snow days were in the way, and how I think this came, so I can close this up real quick. How I think this came about was that I had an interview with a dartboard company out of England. And it snowed two weeks ago, Wednesday. It was snowing. And I said, I am tired of the delays. I am tired of things not happening. I'm going to drive to this interview. And I told my recruiter, I said, if they're going to be there, I'll be there. And I got there on time in the middle of a snowstorm when everybody else opted to Zoom call. And I had a good interview with them. They really liked me. It was a strange interview because two ladies came on a Zoom call and they were in London. So kind of a new experience for me, but I did really well on that. I didn't get the job because the client company and Robert Half started having disagreements as to how their contract was going to work, which was leaving me out in the cold. And one of the recruiters on that, I guess, thought enough of it. She had been working with me all week. I didn't know it. I was coming here to this meeting last Friday. And as I was pulling in the parking lot, the phone rang. And she said, hey, I've sent your profile over to a guy who wants to talk to you. If you interview Monday, can you start Tuesday? And I went, certainly. I will not argue with it. And so it turned out they weren't able to start me Tuesday, but I did the interview. It went really well. He needed to talk to some management, so it took a couple of days to come back. And then Wednesday afternoon, she called and said if I was ready, asked me if I was ready for some good news. And then I started the job on Monday. So I guess if there's any kind of advice, again, I didn't use any real genius to do this. It was just persistence. Just have the persistence, keep beating your head against the wall until the sheetrock breaks. That's really all there was to this one.
Anyone online? We have another lander today. Jeff Stubby landed. He could not be here today in person, so he asked us to do it. He landed as a sales manager at Dense Air Networks. They are a telecom over-the-air kind of company. He starts on the 17th. He found the job through an outside recruiter. The number of interviews he had 4, which is on the low side from what I hear these days. Length of time from initial contact until the offer was 4 months. So persistence was definitely the key word there. And what he learned in the process and advice, keep the faith, perseverance, and network.
I think we hear networking all the time. And so, well, congratulations to Jeff for his landing. One of the things about that company, I think they go about putting Wi-Fi into organizations, into the companies, restaurant, wherever they have Wi-Fi, does that. I think there's a strong market for all of that too. So good for Jeff. All right, so we'd like to do some introductions. And so we have some online and we have some in-person introductions. So we'll start with the room and have people come up to the computer that's on the little, can't remember the word for that. But anyway, come up there and use the microphone and introduce yourself. Here's your outline for introducing yourself. We'll want to make these brief.
Hello, Sean Toy, Supply Chain Director. Looking for my next opportunity in supply chain. Most of my expertise is on the demand side. Target company, need contacts for is PepsiCo. Sean Toy.
Thanks, Sean.
Good morning. I am David Coward, and I am looking for an enterprise account management role. This week, I'm targeting Intuit as a company, and I have contacts at IBM and PricewaterhouseCoopers. Yeah, I'm David Coward.
Thank you, David.
Hi, good morning. My name is Mike Belzil. So I am looking for a senior director of data analytics products. So my target companies include Walt, Keurig Dr. Pepper, HEB, So companies where I have connections are Walmart, Circana, and Epsilon. My name is Mike Belzil.
Mike, I have a, interview with Deloitte on Monday. I can give you their internal recruiter's name and number. Jeff.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Garber. I'm a senior IT program manager looking for a position in the IT industry. Target company right now is Cisco, and I have contacts at Kyndryl and IBM. My name is Mike Garber.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Tim Mahaffey. I am looking for a position in senior IT management or any company looking for digital transformation. I don't have any target companies yet. Just started my job search last week, so I'll be formalizing that soon. I've got some connections at Bank of America and Keelan Financial Services. I come from the fintech area, so I'm looking for a senior management position in IT. Thank you. Tim Mahaffey. I'm one of 3 billion IT managers.
Right? I am one, and I would like a network. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Bunch, and I am a certified Microsoft administrator. And with many years building, deploying, troubleshooting hardware and software, and most recently as the customer success engineer for the last 5 years for Trellix and Microsoft. I'm searching in the DFW area and also in Northwest Arkansas. So my target companies right now are L3 Harris and Walmart. And again, my name is Jennifer Bunch.
Do you know Anthony Ossie?
I have been in years.
He's been here many years.
Oh,
He's
okay.
a Walmart guy.
It's been here.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Very following.
Yes. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bethany Stewart. I'm looking for a senior manager level position in credit risk for underwriting with commercial banks and fintechs. I have contacts with Capital One and Chase.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Hilbert Kelozia. I'm a software development engineer in Best, and now I'm looking for a position in any industry related to be able to action my skill in software development engineering test, and mainly testing the accuracy, all the thing around the AI. The target company for now is Citibank. No contact I have for now. Thank you. My name is Hilbert Kelozia.
Thank you. Welcome.
Good morning, y'all. My name is Tim Farrell. Raytheon let me go 8 days ago. Currently looking for more work in electrical engineering. Target companies would be like Texas Instruments and Honeywell. This is the first time I've been to a job club since I was laid off. So still trying to figure out updating my resume and things like that. My name is Tim Farrell.
Thank you.
You're in the right place.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning. My name is Jason Irish. I'm a financial services professional, most recently in the 401k and pension spaces. My goal is to become a financial advisor making sense of your dollars. My name is Jason Irish.
Thank you, Jason. Has that got everybody in the room? Okay, Matt, we'll go over to the online. I noticed that some of you are already putting your information into the chat window. For those of you that are online, please continue to do so.
Steve Rowan.
Hi, my name is Steve Rowan. I'm a retired .NET developer. And I have contacted Pfizer, GM Financial, and my name is Steve Rowan.
Thank you, Steve. Mutu.
Okay, I am Muthu Kumar Ganesan. I am looking for IT director, infrastructure service delivery roles. The target companies are something related to the banking sector and anything related to data center, cloud, IT infrastructure side of that companies. Yeah, I am Muthu Kumar.
Thank you.
Thank
Amy.
you.
Amy Fleming. I'm looking for a Director of Human Resources or People Operations position. Target companies are Teaching Lab, Catalyst Ed, and company connections I have is Medtronics and Kobe Marketing.
Thank you. Our resident Scotsman, Callum.
My name is Keelan. I'm a project manager and process improvement leader. I have 10 years experience in aerospace and defense. I'm looking for aerospace and defense companies within the next place. I have contacts at out of America, and my name is Keelan. Thank you.
Thank you, Callum. You're a little muffled today. Just wanted to let you know. Might want to work on your microphone. Glenn Meggs.
Hello, everyone. My name is Glenn Meggs. I'm a retired PhD mathematical scientist, work experience in signal processing across multiple sensor platforms, both for defense programs and commercial applications. Currently facilitating the engineering focus group. Glenn Meggs.
Chris Wetzel.
Hi, I'm Chris Wetzel. I'm a software developer. I don't have any target companies at the moment. My name is Chris Wetzel.
Thank you, Chris. Graciela.
Good morning. My name is Graciela Custer. I work part-time digital marketing, searching for contacts for full-time at Alpha Graphics, Allegra Marketing, The Point Group, Open Moves, Smart Sites, Spire Agency, Sellsy, Cloud Campaign, Agency Creative. Again, my name's Graciela Custer. Thank you.
Is that all? That's great. That's the longest target list I've ever heard.
Yep.
And that's perfect.
Thanks.
Good example.
Put them in the chat.
Kathy Dixon.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kathy Dixon. I'm a senior technical writer with extensive experience documenting hardware, application and system software, and processes and procedures. I don't have target companies because, in my opinion, every company and every industry needs good technical communicators. I have contacts at 7-Eleven and Circle K, but after this morning's news, I don't think those are of value. Kathy Dixon, senior tech writer.
Evan Nelson.
Hi, my name is Kevin Nelson. I'm looking for a position in manufacturing operations. I have experience in planning, scheduling, buying, in an inventory control. I'm also an industrial engineer, and I've looked at Lockheed and Raytheon. And my name's Kevin Nelson.
Thank you. Michael Wilk.
Good morning. My name is Michael Wilk. I'm a senior software systems and program quality engineer. I have extensive experience in the aerospace and defense industries. My target companies are TI, SNC, and Collins. I'm a veteran with a top secret clearance. I have a contact at Brian Neal. Thank you. Mo.
Thank you, Michael. Michelle Hawk.
Good morning, everyone. This is Michelle Hawk. I have 15 years experience in accounts receivable cash posting, as well as doing the deposits. I am also recently gained 3 years of experience with a dental surgeon insurance verification. Just during the pandemic, I went back to school and I got a medical coding and billing certificate. Anyhow, I'm looking for a position at CVS. I needed contact in the revenue department so I could go back into pharmacy distribution. This is Michelle Hawk. Thank you.
Thank you. Miguel.
Hi, Matt and Walt. Good morning, everyone. Miguel Castillo. I am a VP Director Finance, mostly on the financial planning and analysis space of P&A. My target companies would be BNSF and Caterpillar. I have connections and contacts at American Airlines and Amazon. Good morning, everyone.
Thank you. Mike Knoll.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Mike Knoll. I am a quality assurance manager. I have over 25 years experience in aerospace and defense, maintenance, operations, and quality. My target companies are RTX, especially Collins, Leonardo DRS, and SNCs here in Nevada. I have contacts at L3 Harris. I am bilingual in French. I am an Air Force combat veteran and something else. But my name is Mike Null, and I'm on LinkedIn as one Michael Null.
Thank you. We're having some audio problems on our end. So everyone online, make sure you put your target companies in the chat so that they can be reviewed later by everybody. Thank you. Randall.
Hi. Yeah. Either way. I am Randall Christopher, looking for internal process auditor position. My experience is in the technology industry with extensive experience in inventory control. My current target companies are Ericsson and T-Systems, and I have contacts at Samsung Electronics America. Again, my name is Randall Christopher.
Thank you. Rosina.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rosina Gallman, and I am your Career Tip of the Week host. The position I've been looking for is for a senior talent acquisition partner or senior recruiter position. And I have worked at a variety of different companies. So as I hear some that you're mentioning, I may reach out to you with some contacts. And then as far as companies where I am looking for contacts, it would be at Goldman Sachs, Deloitte, Delta Dental, Unum Dental, MetLife, ADP, USAA, TIAA, and Ericsson. Again, my name is Rosina Gallman, Senior Talent Acquisition Partner or Senior Recruiter.
Thanks, Rosina. You're giving Graciela a run for money on the target list.
She beat me. No, she has it for this week.
Steve Sulkin.
Morning, I'm Stephen Sulkin, Director of Process Improvement, and I help people work together better as an organizational psychologist, and I lead the early stage lean and process improvement deployment. I have contacts at Baylor Scott & White Health, and I'm looking for contacts at SSM Health out of Missouri or Wellstar out of Georgia. I'm Stephen Sulkin.
Thanks, Stephen. Susan Heaton. Coffee break. Tim Kluge.
Morning, all. My name is Tim Kluge. I'm a cybersecurity analyst. I'd like to maybe find a contact at Capital One or Toyota. Thanks.
Did I miss anyone online? Is that Vitaly? Yeah. You want to introduce yourself real quick?
Have to come up to the front, Vitaly.
While he's walking up, my name is Matt Keelan, IT VP Director. Need a contact at Deloitte, and I can help you with Cherry Becker and Grant Thorne. Matt Keelan.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Vitaly Platonov. I'm supply chain manager in automotive. I've been in this area for 18 years, mainly in Ukraine. And now I'm looking for a possibility to find a job here in the United States. I'm happy to be here in person.
Did we miss anybody online? All right, seems like we're ready to go. We may, if we continue to have some technical difficulties, we may go to plan B here in a few minutes. We'll see how it goes. All right. Job leads. Do we have our recruiters online?
Matt, I think this is where you wanted me to talk.
Yes. Hey, John. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, everybody. My name's John Machinsky. I'm the Director of Admissions at ComputerMinds.com. And I'm actually here to talk about some free training resources that might be able to help you in your transition while you're looking for your new role. At Computer Minds, we provide short-term certification training for the information technology, cybersecurity, project management, and logistics and supply chain fields. And we're able to offer these services free of charge because of our partnership with the Texas Workforce Commission. Being unemployed, collecting unemployment, being on a government benefit like TANF or food stamps, that is a qualifier for the Workforce Scholarship, WIOA. And if you qualify for that scholarship, you can use that funding to pay for certification training. Dallas County, Tarrant County, and the surrounding DFW counties all have workforce offices, and they are all spending money right now to be able to help with retraining and upskilling. So if certification training is something that you think could help you during your transition, I will drop all of my contact information into the chat. Matt, I think you have my business card still from yesterday, from yesterday. So if anybody in the room is interested, please pass along my information. But you could also visit our website at computerminds.com. And if you request information, there is a drop-down box for the South Lake Focus Group. If you pick that as your option, then your information will get to me and I'll be able to help answer any of your questions. But the counties are spending money. Certifications are big. It helps create additional marketability for that transition and that job search. So if there's anything I can do to help, please reach out to me.
I'll provide the card. John, thanks again for being here. Much appreciated.
No problem.
So let's talk about a couple other things. I told you I'd tell you a little bit more about myself. I'm retired from an IT career spanning too many years. But I offer the free interview success workshop. It's to help us gain confidence in our interviewing skills and to learn how to sell ourselves. So there's a few aspects of the workshop that I'd just like to review briefly. One, it's a learning interview. It is not a mock interview. It is a way we can not just, yes, we practice a little bit, but practice is not the main target. The idea is to say, how can we sell? And we're going to sell three things. That's who we are, what we do, and how we can help. So if that fits your idea of being able to sell that in an interview, then the workshop is for you. You have to be registered to attend. There's a QR code there you can use to start an email out to me right now. I'm taking people on the wait list. I do it on Tuesday mornings, 9/11 Central Time. And I only do 1 or 2 people at a time on Zoom. But we're going to look at options and strategies and ways. So if we can sell ourselves effectively and demonstrate that during an interview and pass the audition of how we communicate, how we talk, how we think, how we process in an interview, then this is for you. We will learn how to differentiate ourselves by the result of that, because few people are doing that in interviews. You also get not only your video of your interview, but you will get a handout and it has a video that goes along with it. And then several other files and things about follow-up and thank you notes and how you can help prepare, how you can take a look at your job description, et cetera, inside of the handout. So if that's got more materials. One of the ways I've designed this is so that because jobs don't last very long anymore. You know, a contract job is just as long as a permanent job. What's the difference hardly, right? So I like to give you these materials so that you can pull those up again when it's time to look for your next job. I started this back in 2000. So the elements of this has been good for the past 24 years, working now 25. So I'll be glad to have you participate. Okay. So call it learning without squirming. Well, I suggest that we practice interviewing to find the job we are pursuing. So take the workshop and practice at Pitt. Do what Nike says, just do it.
That'd be great.
Okay, Matt, would you like to talk about the Pitt crew?
Sure. PIT crew stands for Practice Interview Team. Absolutely the best place to practice for interviews. It occurs every Wednesday in this room from 1 to 3, except the 4th Wednesday of any given month, which we do online. many of the people in this room participate in that and are panelists and provide interviews. We appreciate it. So come check us out. We recommend that you come a few times and observe somebody else being interviewed. I guarantee you'll learn something just doing that. And then when you're ready to have your own interview, reach out to dallaspitcrew@gmail.com and Ron Layton will schedule you for your own interview.
Right, and I suggest don't wait too long. Practice early, practice often is the motto of the pit crew. So you send that email to dallaspitcrew@gmail.com, send in your resume, job description. And if you look at the website, it's also listed. You can find out lots of different information and resources that'll help you with interviewing. Rosina, you're up for the career tip of the week.
Thank you, Walt. Give me just a sec. All right. All right, everybody. Well, as we move forward in our job search, I want to point out what I consider the obvious. Networking meetings are professional events where you're making connections with other professionals across a variety of industries. And these events are composed of volunteers who donate their time as presenters who they provide a subject matter through a creative presentation, hosts of the events who coordinate all aspects of the program, chat manager who shares a variety of resources and tips, and then it all begins with those who just physically open the door or open the virtual doors to the building or the Zoom call and guide you to the room location. Please be appreciative and respectful to the volunteers who produce the behind-the-scenes work to make these weekly events happen. As you look around, you see other professionals on the Zoom call or in person, yet they see you as well. Please keep in mind that these are hiring authorities that when they land, they could reach out to you with a job opportunity, simply based on the way you conduct yourself through their observation of you during these weekly events or after event lunches. So this brings me to this week's kickoff series on emotional intelligence in job search. So this week's career tip of the week is Emotional Intelligence 101, Impacting Your Job Search. And this article is by Grand Circus. So many things go into job search, and so not the least of which is how to present yourself and how you interact with others. For many, this can be the most daunting part of looking for a new job. It's not honing the skills that are scary. It's wondering whether or not you nailed the interview or fearing the 100 reasons or ways that you didn't. At Grand Circus, we want to make sure that we help folks get better at all the things that could help them change a career. And we know that improving emotional intelligence is a great way to improve your overall career search success. So the internet holds a lot of intel on emotional intelligence, but we wanted to make it more specific to career changes and job hunters. Before we talk about many ways to improve overall success in your job hunt, excuse me, we need to make sure that we all understand what emotional intelligence is. So let's set a common ground for what emotional intelligence entails. There are two important facets of emotional intelligence. That's dealing with yourself and dealing with others. And in the dealing with yourself category, we have self-awareness, which is how am I feeling? And self-management, which is am I capable of controlling those feelings? In the dealing with others category, we have social awareness, which is how are those around me feeling? And relationship management, which is how can I use my understanding of others' feelings to positively impact our interaction. So we'll need to hone all four of these skills to positively impact our job search. So let's look at some examples of how those skills might be present in our quest for a new gig. So when we're talking self-awareness, which again, noticing how you're feeling in different situations, This networking event makes me feel isolated and lonely. I feel intimidated by the corporate nature of this building. The way others are dressed makes me question my own outfit choice, which makes me worried. Or I feel overwhelmed by a personal situation that I can't seem to stop thinking of, even when I'm in a professional setting. That's again under self-awareness. Now, under self-management, that's controlling how you feel so that it manifests in controlling how you feel so that it manifests in socially positive behavior. And that could be, I know when I'm feeling isolated, I tend to disengage, or I will combat that by finding at least 3 new people to talk to before I agree to let myself leave this event. I know corporate places make me uncomfortable, so I will do a dry run of the neighborhood by before I interview, and I'll make sure that I put the most corporate outfit on so that I don't feel out of place. When I feel worried about my appearance, I overcompensate by letting my big personality get even bigger, and that might be unprofessional. So I'll research appropriate dress for this occasion ahead of time and buy one article of clothing that makes me feel both like I fit in and I'm showcasing who I am. And then the last bullet is, I know when I'm overwhelmed by personal situations, I tend to overshare personal details, which is definitely unprofessional. So I vow not to use the names of the individuals in my personal situations throughout the duration of this professional event to help me disengage and remain in the moment. So when we're talking about social awareness, that is picking up on cues from others to understand how others are feeling. Based on this person's consistent eye contact, focus, head nodding, I believe she is engaging in our conversation and happy with its direction. Based on this sustained silence that began after I approached this group, I believe that they are displeased or uncomfortable with my arrival. Based on this person's short responses and lack of follow-up questions, I believe he is disinterested in our interaction or just being polite. And then based on the fact that this person has stopped nodding and I haven't heard this person's voice in a while, I may be dominating the conversation and the person is bored or irritated. And then the last section is on relationship management, which is using knowledge of others' feelings to create positive interpersonal interactions. So because this person has had consistent eye contact, focus, and head nodding, I will continue to keep this conversation's topic and or be inquisitive to this person on this topic. Because of the sustained silence that began when I arrived, I will acknowledge my entrance as if it's okay to join them or ask what they're talking about. Because of this person's short responses and lack of follow-up questions, I will change my behavior from speaking so much to asking more, or will find a way to graciously exit. And lastly, because this person has stopped engaging in our conversation, I will ask her a question on the topic, or I will find a way to graciously exit. So these are just some examples of those 4 categories where we need to make sure we're honing our skills and being very observant in our interactions with others. So now that we have common vocabulary, we'll need to make sure we know our own emotional intelligence and where it stands. So next week, I'll do part 2 of this series to dig in on ways to improve your emotional intelligence and improve your job search. Again, I hope you guys enjoy this article. It's very intuitive, and it's again this is part 1 of emotional intelligence 101, sorry, impacting your job search. And this article is by Grand Circus. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you much, Rosina. I know you do a lot of work in preparing for these. So today, for those that want to join us at 11:45 at Country Burger, it's at the corner of Parker Road and Independence. Yeah, Parker and Independence. I see it on a slide now. Do enjoy it. We do a little networking and some talking about job search and things like that and getting to know one another, building some connections, not just contacts, well, with people. Be glad to have you come with us and participate. And for those of you that are online and are nearby, you're still welcome to come too. All right. So how would you like to get the information today from the materials that we have from Open Forum? So Matt and his technical expertise and his great support of the group will send an email out, follow-up email to all the attendees only that includes, a link to this recording that'll be out there, a copy of the career tip of the week. So it's a lot more detailed than what Rosina shared with us. And you'll also get a copy of the Zoom chat. And so in order to make sure you get this information, so in the room, if you sign in legibly with your email address and online, you can include your email address in the chat, and Matt asks that you do it only once. It takes some effort to pull out everybody's session. You want to talk about that at all?
Nope.
Okay.
I would add that I am behind. I will get caught up this afternoon. My apologies.
All right. So the main event is time now. So if you have a question you want to talk in Zoom, you can raise your hand with a question in the chat window. Matt and I'll be monitoring that for your questions as you want to talk about things. So just do that. Online, we're going to have a microphone. We have a volunteer that moves the microphone around so that as you talk and you'll need the microphone so that the people online can pick you up as well. So for your questions. So turn on your video and we'll into the open forum of job search questions and you can ask us. So what questions and what challenges do you have today? Who's first? Got one in the room? Well, say your name as you ask your question, please.
Thank you. This is Tim Happy. A question, being new to the job search job, what other networking events are available for us to network? I mean, you can go to Meetup. I see South Lake folks here, but this is the third time I've heard it this week, so you can expect me to. Are there other events we can attend and network to look for job opportunities?
I love that question. It's a great thing because a lot of us have been to many different groups. You can't go to all of them, but which ones do others recommend? So we've heard South Lake Folks Group. Are there others? Frisco Connect was mentioned. Where do you find out the information about these? Do you know? careerdfw.org. There's a calendar. I'll show that a little bit of information about that at the end of today's session. If you're not aware of it, stick around. Make sure you see how we connected with those topics. So,
Yeah, Walt.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just going to mention this, and I see Kathy put it in the chat. The CSN IT group meets on Tuesday mornings, but as Kathy can attest, it is not just for IT people. The engineering group also meets jointly with them. Not many engineers join in, but a few do. But it is not just for IT. It's kind of like the way the engineering group is named. I just say it had to be named something, and those were the names that were chosen. So there are lots of people in that group on Tuesday mornings that are not in IT or engineering who show up. So yeah, it's a good place to chat and talk. Mike Bowen presents a good programs every week. So I would encourage people to look into that. And as you just mentioned, all that stuff's on the career DFW calendar. The IT group is has not yet quite yet got straightened out on the calendar. So find it in the networking group's listings.
Can you put some info in the chat window about that, Glenn?
Sure.
Okay, great.
I'll add to that. There's an HR group that is led by Foster, and so same thing like with the IT group. Even if you're not in HR, it's always good to have friends in HR positions. So that's one. And then there's some Fridays, but it's all the way to Colleyville. Today, a little later today, there's a meeting, in the Market Street coffee area where they review resumes and they help you with kind of interviewing skills, etc. The last one I'll mention, but again, I'm in South Lake, so I'm equidistant to Plano as I am to Fort Worth. Monday mornings, it's a good group as well. Clayton Stockdale leads the Fort Worth kind of a meeting in the morning on Mondays. If you are in the North Dallas area, it's good to have, expand your network, but it might be that some of the potential opportunities there might be in the Fort Worth area. And so if that's impossible for you to commute all the way from, Richardson, Plano, North Dallas, that you just have to keep that in mind.
Yes, you might look up Career Search Network. Foster has several subgroups that meet as well, and they're focused in a particular area. But my key to any networking group is they don't care exactly what their emphasis is on. They still know people in other companies. They have networking connections, and it's not just, you don't go just for that. So you might talk to people who go to groups. South Lake Focus Group is strong on networking. It's a primary task for them. Clayton Stockdale is part of the Career Search Network. He does multiple speakers like we do here to speak there. South Lake Focus Group also brings in multiple speakers as well. So take a look at those groups, find out from other people, what do they think? And my biggest suggestion to you is talk to the leader of the group. The leader of the group is your biggest job search helper in the category of people out there that are willing to help. This is what they do. They try to help people with the group. They have connections, they have contacts. So they should be on your list of people to talk to. I strongly recommend that you talk to them if they meet in person. Career Search Clayton Stockdale's group is both online and in person, but go in person, meet those people in person, meet that leader in person, build that rapport, build that connection. Great connections for you. Other groups? We got one more in the room. Hang on, Michael.
Hi, this is Mike. Since you're just getting started, what I'd recommend is, all networking is good, but some networking is more helpful than others. You literally can find networking events across DFW, which is great, for every day of the week. You get a full-time job just going to networking meetings. And so figure out, your networking plan, and then find forums through discovery that are going to best fit it.
Michael Wilt.
There's Career Care Network. It's online and at the church, St. Andrew's UMC in West Plano on Monday at 2 o'clock. And Thursday at 6:45 p.m. is Bulletproof Your Career for Life.
Maybe
you chopped up on the last one, Michael. So if
Okay.
you put that second one into the chat window.
I'll do it.
All right.
I was just I'll add, Walt, that besides obviously all the support groups and, career, search type groups, I'm sure, this sounds very logical, if you probably are already doing it, but your alumni network, industry associations and functional associations as well. You should, if you're not already very well connected with them, you should join those and be, active and a lot of the people there will have a job, so it's also good to have people in your network that currently have a job.
Any others?
Yeah, I just wanted to second something that Mike has
Okay,
said.
Marshall.
Just when you are looking for groups, one of the things that's nice about DFW is you find networking groups everywhere for everything. Sometimes you can go to some of these groups where you have business owners that are in. Last time I helped a Career Connection, I had a couple of people that spent so much time going to networking groups, they weren't looking for a job. Truthfully, they'd have two on Monday, they go to one on Wednesday, they go to one on Thursday, and I'm so busy, I don't know if I can make the one on Friday, and I'm like, when are you applying for jobs? And it just, so when you go to these groups, like there's a group in Frisco that meets at Tenders on Wednesday mornings, and it's a bunch of solopreneurs. Great people, I'm not throwing shade on them at all, but I need a conventional job, and it just couldn't help. It just didn't have the positions. If the networking group doesn't work for you, politely don't go back. You need to have that discretion again, because in DFW, we're blessed with so many groups. Make sure you're getting something out of it. And like I said, it's not that they're bad people if they don't help you. But be very discreet with your time about how much time you spend with networking groups.
I haven't looked and counted recently, but a few months, years back, there were over 80 groups in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Almost all of it is free help on job search. So it's really amazing. And a lot of that's online today. I call the interview success workshop an international because I had a participant from Spain that took part of the workshop, but it's all over. Talk to the people that go to those groups before you go to the group and find out what they do and what it's about to help you do it. So how many networking groups should you go to a week? Well, Marshall says not 10. Down to 2. Okay. Any other suggestions? How many do y'all go to? Microphone.
I would say, go to the number of meetings that align with your networking plan and where you're at in your search.
Okay.
Probably more is better as you're figuring out, and you get more kind of test and learn and figure out what works. Then refine it and focus on the ones that you're gonna get the most value.
Roger. Roger that.
And that could be 2, that could be 5. It's gonna depend.
So how many do you think if you go to this many groups, that may be too many? What would that number be? Okay, I'm gonna give you my answer to it. More than 3 causes a little concern for me and where you're spending your time. When you spend your time, Mondays and Fridays are pretty good days to go networking, because that's not the good days to do networking with people that are employed. Those doing Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays are the best days for that. So that may be good for you, but go to the ones that mean something for you. Make your calendar so that, what am I going to that group for? What am I going to learn about it? What can I use? What can be impactful for me? See what their topic's going to be, etc. Do your homework so that you're using your time very wisely. Okay. All right. Other questions?
I can't be here from now on.
Yeah, I know Matt goes to too many. I'm concerned, Matt. He volunteers. I'm truly concerned. He volunteers a lot, an awful lot. Okay, Kathy.
There's a lot of the same job seekers are at multiple groups, and a lot of the same speakers are at multiple groups. That said, I will tell you that every time I listen to you, Walt, I hear something new. You might be using the same presentation, but I'm hearing something new. Okay. So it's not like repetition isn't of value.
Well, thank you, Kathy. Yes, when I present, you just never know from one to the other one how sometimes what I'm going to say. Some of them, they just show up. All right, Miguel.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I'm almost thinking that I disagree with the top, being 3 groups, because it depends, to your point, of what you're trying to do. In many of these cases, I guess what you do get a benefit of many of these groups is that if you go, while some people might be the same, not everyone is the same, and you can get the informational kind of interviews with people. You can connect with them. That's why anytime that I would be in person with you in this meeting, going to the lunch is very important. It's, you are talking to people, you are relating to others, And that's one of the other aspects of job search is like, you know, creating a network. But network is not just connecting in LinkedIn and not knowing anything about the other person, right? If you want to refer someone, have a warm introduction, you kind of need to know them, right? You can vouch for them. So again, I'm not saying way too many groups, but depending on what your goals are, it might be that it is one a day, you know. So anyway, just my thoughts.
Yeah, Michael, I mean, again, I think you're right, because if you're early in your job search, you may want to visit a few to pick out the 2 or maybe 3, you know, the ones that you want to go to. So early on, but do some of that homework. Okay, other questions, challenges, what can we help you with?
No, but I will say I like LinkedIn every Tuesday because I could always learn something new every week.
That's right. And LinkedIn has 4 different speakers that rotate and they all have different perspectives, right?
Right.
And so they're all recorded except for Terry Sullivan. And when you come listen to Terry, he's a fire hose. I mean, he really spits it out in a hurry. So, but he's got some great stuff, some great websites and things they can help you with. Is he still offering to review people's LinkedIn pages in his sessions?
Yeah.
I'm getting nods. Okay. Who else does that? Right. So thank you. That's a good comment. Yes, sir.
Hey, Walt. So
your name is?
My name is Jason Irish, and my question is about, I compile a list personally, I try to take down information from people as they're talking about what companies are looking into, as well as what companies they have. Can you suggest a good way for us to keep track of that without having a bunch of excess sheets of paper? Thought about maybe doing it in some kind of AI format to where I can help people connect with companies or something like that. But if you have any suggestions on.
Yeah, hire an admin. Yeah, the administrative part of job search. Anybody got any suggestions on how to keep track of all this?
I don't have all the answers, but just spreadsheet.
Okay.
Persons and spreadsheets.
All right.
One thing I would say on networking, this is where I'm stopping. I think going to these different groups is helpful. You get the broad perspective. You always learn, because there's the coaching element and there's the networking. But the critical piece that I think I wasn't as smart about earlier in my search was the follow-ups, right? It's great you meet people and expand your network, which is great, but oftentimes it's those critical follow-ups that are going to really, move the needle in terms of your search. Otherwise, you can add 50 people to your network on LinkedIn, but if you're only getting that cursory level, it's probably not going to get you as far along as you want to from a networking. So balance that time between the base networking, meeting new people, and getting new contacts, and doing those critical follow-ups. So I can do a good job of balancing that.
Yeah, anybody know of any job search CRM systems that are out there? Marshall, you had a comment?
Well, yeah, I had a comment, again, kind of tagging on the mic, and we're really not coordinating in the background. But with TWC, one thing to consider is if you're getting unemployment from TWC and you get audited, you have to show that you've done 5 job search activities each week. And so what I did is on my spreadsheet, because I do 5 a day. I mean, I'm aggressive at it, but what I do is on my spreadsheet, I go out and this is who I applied for, this is when I applied, all the stuff that's required for TWC, and then back, who did I interview with, who did I contact with, when do I want to follow up with them. Another tool is if you use Outlook to manage your email, even if it's a Hotmail account or whatever. You can set tasks. When you talk to somebody, say, call me back in a week. Then if the week is next Friday, I put that in there as a task. When I wake up in the morning and open up my email, it tells me, hey, these are the 3 guys you need to call. You can also look and say, hey, I'm getting too many tasks for Friday. Who do I move back to Monday? And you manage it exactly as if you're employed in the office. And instead of thinking of it as more things to do, you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You're keeping your eligibility for employment at the same time keeping track of your. I know with TWC calls, I just pull. I give TWC about 7 a week, so they can throw one out. I'm still eligible, and I don't have to pay any money back. But truthfully, I'm doing a lot more than that. I'm doing 25 or 30 a week. but that's how I do it. I just go through and I use the same spreadsheet, or I tie my Hotmail to my Outlook, and then I just use the management tools in there.
Okay, Matt's got something up that might help us out. Matt?
Just ask ChatGPT for some free CRM tools for job seekers. Teal, Hunter, Street. Who comes up with these names? HubSpot, Airtable, ClickUp, Notion. How ought to get you started?
So you can use the same prompt, show you the prompt that you had. Is that in there?
What are some free CRM tools for job seekers?
There you go.
I don't know who spoke before, but they were mentioning the having all these things tracked by tasks, etc. Where do you do that? What system? What tool?
I didn't hear all
Outlook.
Yeah.
The answer was Outlook.
Outlook was.
Oh, okay, in Outlook, and I do agree, definitely, that we just need to, while we're in transition, we just need to have that big picture of like, we need to act the same way that, how we do when we have a job. I think that, having our own metrics on what we do, helps us also feel in control. So every week I'm going to do this many groups, this many one-on-ones with people, this many applications, or et cetera, et cetera. And Matt Keelan says in many of his in many groups that he participates, that on Sundays you have to look at your calendar and look at what are the things you're gonna do. And again, that's what you would do at work. I don't know that everyone does it on Sunday, but but you do look at your meetings, and if sometimes you would have 2 meetings at the same time, you would decide which one you're going to be attending, and if you are going to have someone else in your group participate in the other one or whatever, but you plan it. And that's also, I guess, helps Walt define also how you're using your time, and define if more than 3 networking groups is too much. You have to really
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Quick question on networking. So my background is in sales. I'm very familiar with reaching out to prospective clients and not saying things like, I have 5 minutes every time. If I can just find out about what the challenges are with your business and things like that. So my question is around networking. I'm approaching networking in similar ways that I approach sales. Target people who want to go after, have conversations about how you might be able to help them. But I'm just curious how folks here are doing that when they're reaching out to people in their own network and having effective, crisp conversations that are valuable to those who are.
Name?
One technique that I use, especially as higher levels of kind of cold calling, is just asking for advice. So there's a lot of people want one that's kind of a softer ask, and most people want to give advice. So that's been effective for me. There's others.
How are we doing it? What's going on out there? How do you handle it?
I do some things that are unconventional. I do not disagree with how the networking groups tell you to network. I don't agree with it. It is the best way to find a job. I've done other job searches. My problem has been my network retired. And they retired for long enough ago, they no longer have contacts at the companies I want to go to. Not throwing shade on them, I just, their contacts have already resigned, been laid off, whatever. One of the things that I kind of get looked at sideways when I say this, but one good way to start networking is to start calling every temp agency in town. And the reason for that is, one, they're easy interviews. Nobody's going to try to trip you up. And it gets you used to talking to people you don't know. And it's just a very easy, structured way. And you might get a contract job out of it that will at least bridge your finances till you find the next career position. And I find that by doing that, when I go to a networking thing and they go, hey, we're all in the room, network with each other. That when you're used to talking to people you don't know, it's a muscle. You have to work it or it atrophies. Same thing when I did improv theater. I get out of improv for a year and I'm starting all over again. And job searching is the same way. And so you get that being comfortable talking to somebody you don't know. The interviews are easy. And then going to job fairs, I don't like to go to job fairs because I put much more time into it than I get out of it. But I'm a veteran, so I get to sneak into the TWC ones early. Another way of just getting used to talking to people. And as soon as you do that, you'll find that things will start happening real fast. And then also your interview skills will kind of grow on their own.
One other thought about balancing the time. A lot of the networking groups that are here that are really robust, this being an example, the recurring meetings, they happen every week, and most of them are taped or recorded. So, you're scheduling time, within a critical time where it's go to this versus do a follow-up one-on-one interview, do the one-on-one interview because you have an opportunity to glean essence from this meeting. So similar to how we're all working, just managing your schedule day to day. It's kind of like, hey, do I need to go to this meeting? What am I going to get out of it? Am I going to contribute to this meeting? Or, hey, this is something that I don't have to go to that I can catch up on later. So just another thought.
So we could talk all day about networking. I'll look at scheduling some more networking sessions coming up on the Friday schedule, as well as doing that. Have any of you listened to Jay Fusaro in his networking presentation? Have you ever heard Jeff? I'll see if I can't get Jeff's schedule or Jay scheduled. He memorizes everything. He knows exactly what he's going to say, and every time he says it, what to do. But he's got some great detailed information, so I'll try to get him on the schedule. Let me give you a couple of my tips, and we'll stop unless somebody has other questions about networking. One is, who do you network with? Who's on your list of people to network? And I mentioned one, which was the leader of the groups. All right. The key people that I put at the top of my list is who knows me. All right. Those are the people that it said, okay, who knows me? Who's the ones that can give a referral? Who's the ones that are saying, all right, I know about you, whatever. Recommendations that you have on LinkedIn, for example. Those people know us. Those are our primary networking contacts. Those are the ones that can talk about us so that when they're talking to someone else, they say, I've worked with him, I know her, I know whatever it might be. So that's the primary contact. Then the second thing about is, of those, which one will help? Because not all of them will help, right? And so what's the priority of that? The ones that, so you try with everyone, figure out which one it is. And you can still be persistent in your stuff. And then when you meet people, talk about them first, not you. All right. And you're networking, you talk with them, how's things going, what happened to you, whatever it might be on that. All right. Find something in common about yourself and them. Find something that you can talk about and they can maybe ask a question that's relevant to them, their job, their whatever it might be. And then they'll get around and say, well, how's it going with you? Okay, carry a bio, have a bio with you. A bio is a great networking tool, I think better than a resume because a bio doesn't say I'm looking for a job. So have a bio added with that so that people can take a bio of information. So when people are going to talk to someone else about us, we tell them what we want them to say about us. Okay, help them do the referral, help them do the networking contact or whatever it might be. The general rule is make it easy for people to help us. Make it easy for people to find us. Goes along the same way. I put my email address for the workshop and my phone number on my banner page on LinkedIn. You don't have to connect with me in order to reach me. And so during my job search, I might take those off after, when I've got a job, but for right now, so make it easy. So there's just some tips that I have to kind of bottom line out on networking stuff.
I would like to add to that. In networking meetings, everyone has their phone and their LinkedIn app, and that's great. But I think they can hear me online, okay? Can you hear me online?
Yep.
Okay. The outside network meetings, you need to have a business card. I know it's old school, but I can't tell you how many times I've stopped by Home Depot on my way home and I got my duds on. People come up to me and say, aren't you overdressed? Yes, I'm looking for a job. Oh, really? What are you looking for? Oh, IT director, VP. Oh, I know somebody. Do you have a card? They're not gonna have LinkedIn on their, probably have the LinkedIn app on their phone. So have a business card, so that you can network outside of the networking meetings, because most of those people are unemployed.
What should be the
You
minimum?
wanna, you wanna make sure that you can, network with people who are employed. And with respect to your comment about a bio, I have a mini bio on the back. My entire skill set is on the back of my card. So, and I point that out as I hand them the card and said, hey, here's all the things I can do. I don't wanna, hold you up. I could talk about myself all day, but here you go. Please, reach out to me, I'll reach out to you, and would love to, get connected with that person that you mentioned. Thank you very much.
And one of the nice things about business cards is get theirs. So if you give somebody a business card, say, may I have your business card? And that, one way of looking at it is, I don't care what you do with mine, but I got yours. So we want to make sure we add that to it. You had a comment? Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, what's the minimum that should be on a business card, like probably your email address, your name, the title you're seeking for, your telephone number,
And your LinkedIn URL. And my-
LinkedIn URL.
Yeah, I have my URL, and then I have a QR code to the URL, so they can just scan it and
Okay.
connect with me easily. And then, I like to put skill set or bio on the back. Some people like to leave it blank, for making notes. I do this,
Okay, thank you, sir.
but opinions are like belly buttons, so.
Other comments or another topic? Got a hand in the room?
Other topic, been primarily seeking the full-time roles. But recently started entertaining and exploring the fractional roles. And so I'm very, very new to this. I would love anyone to have any expertise or guidance to give,
Do they know we can't hear?
I can't hear anything.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that Walt knew that.
Yeah. Kathy, you're gonna have to lead this then. Lead the online group.
Oh, no, no, no. You don't want me doing that.
Matt, can you hear us? Walt?
I saw a note that it said Matt Keelan is now the host, and then it dropped the sound at that point. So I don't know.
We can't hear you, Walt.
Well, he's
you're
laughing
on
at
mute.
us now.
Walt's on mute.
Yeah, the signal dropped and it just says, Walt, you're not doing a very good job. I'm going to Matt.
Can you hear him now?
Yes.
One.
And we can hear
one
you
comment
too.
I have about picking up the bridge job or a secondary job where you're looking.
Matt's on
Is
mute.
it, two things. One, I just finished. What? I just. Oh, okay. But one of the things on getting bridge jobs, couple of things is one, whenever I've done that before, like the perfect bridge job I got was nighttime data entry person. I worked from 3 to 11, so I could still get at 6 and 7 in the morning and still do my job search. And then I was off every Friday. So if I had appointments, that was a good time to book them, or Friday was a good 3-day weekend. But I work Saturdays, I work evenings. That allows your business hours to be open so you can still aggressively look for a job. And I like second shift because I'm not worn out. I'm not trying to sleep during the business day. And then the other thing is that I found out from TWC 2 days ago, talking to one of the reps in Austin, is you can make up to $120 to $125 a week. And it doesn't affect your benefits. So if you are on unemployment and see you're getting $479 a week, you can add 125 to that. That puts you at almost 600 a week to go to all the steakhouses you want to go to, but it'll keep you out of your savings, keep you out of your 401k. Because I think the one thing about job search that's not talked about too much is the financial survival that is running parallel to that job search. And if that is stressing you out, it's going to affect how you come across to people. So I'm a big fan of getting, part-time jobs. And if you have to take a bridge job, you have to take a bridge job. I read a resource that if a job lasts less than 60 days, don't put it on your resume. It's just a bridge job. So I absolutely am all for it.
And we can find somebody else that say, do put it on your resume. I mean, it's always somebody that goes back and forth on what's said, but you can say, that you're doing part-time stuff, or you can put something on there. What activities are you doing during your job search time? And you could include maybe that as a bullet or something that you have done some part-time work or volunteering, things like that. Kathy?
Regarding the being able to work and draw unemployment at the same time, if you make more than they allow, they deduct dollar for dollar up until you get up to your max amount. And then that money gets added on to the end of your 6 months. So you're not really giving that money up unless you're close to the end of the year that you started your claim. There's a lot of advantages to bridge jobs to help us during this financial difficulty, even if you're getting unemployment. Thanks.
Next topic. What can we help you with? We got one in the room. Hang on.
So references, I was just let go from my job about a week ago. Any suggestions on who to get for a reference, how to, go ask for a reference? Any information you can give on that would be great.
All right. Who do you choose as references and how do you go about it? I can tell you one thing, we don't put references available upon request on our resume anymore.
Okay.
And do you have any recommendations on LinkedIn?
I think I do.
Okay.
Pretty cool. Okay.
Get new ones.
Yes, sir.
Get some new ones put on.
Most of the people that I work with, when I get to that stage of the hiring process, they want two, at a bare minimum, they want two former supervisors. And there's somebody you've worked with.
Yep.
And then the other thing that I do, this is an old story. Guy put up a reference. They called and found out that he hadn't talked to that reference in 20 years. Obviously, he didn't get the job. But one of the things I do out of courtesy to my references, and it also helps on the job search side, is anytime you give a reference to a recruiter or to a hiring manager, call them and let them know you're passing that information on. That way, when practical, one, it's courtesy to the reference, but two, you don't have the hiccup. When the hiring manager calls, a reference already knows, oh yeah, I know about this. This is no big deal, and nobody gets weird about it. Old references are fine. Newer ones are better. I would try to get your supervisor if he likes you really well. I would try to get him now because he will be your most valuable. He will be the one they call.
Okay. Thank you.
Just to build on that, strike while the iron's hot. Sounds like you recently separated.
Yeah.
So I'm sure a lot of your former colleagues,
Still remember.
would remember you, but also probably feel bad for you, right? With a lot of help.
Okay.
And so strike while the iron's hot, if you get those commitments, those referrals now, and then as you get them, add some of them to LinkedIn, because the LinkedIn algorithm gives juice to current recommendations. And that will help with your LinkedIn reach from a marketing standpoint.
Okay. Thank you.
I go as far as if a person, I ask, would you mind giving me a reference on, a LinkedIn recommendation? If they agree to it, I said, I'll send you a draft and I help write it for them. And then send them that, say, now, does this accurately reflect, did this be something, so make it easy for people to, to help us. And so draft it for them. And then you get to say, this is what I want you to talk about specifically in the reference to the job that I'm looking for. Okay. Help them out. I can't, sometimes I think it's a game. Surely we're gonna give them a reference that they'll call up and say, oh, Walt does a bad job. I mean, it's like, it's kind of interesting, but, when you do say you talk to someone, send your references a note that you have given them information that they may call you. This is the company name. This is who it is that's going to call, and put them up front and let them know. Okay. And then you contact them later and say, did they call you? And if they did, you want to thank them for giving the follow-up is one of the things I see lacking. Someone had put down like 5 different companies that they wanted to get some contacts on. So I went into LinkedIn, I put down my first contacts, my second connections. I gave when I had contact, I'm gonna put a whole table together, okay? It took me about 3 hours to put all that together, and I sent it to him and I got an email back that said, thank you. And that was the last I heard. Follow up with people, let them know if they've done something, let them know that you thank them, follow up. Well, what happened? Did you use any of them? Did you contact them? Or, what went on with it? So you definitely want to check, follow up with that. Other comments? Don't use family members.
Just one tip that I discovered this week is on LinkedIn. So in my last job, I used LinkedIn pretty heavily. I've got about 1,200 contacts or something like that. But I no longer have access to LinkedIn Navigator. And so you can put in a request, and you can just Google how to do this. Put in a request. LinkedIn will send you a file that has all your data, and they send it within a day. And so you can take that file as a CVS file and drop it into Excel and sort, hit it on it. So that's really helpful.
Yeah, I've used that myself. It's a little hard to find in the navigation where to download that, but that's where you can ask ChatGPT, where do I download my information from Zoom? And it'll tell you how to navigate to it.
It's in the security settings.
Yeah, yeah. It used to have, if you put in a message in your request to connect, it used to put that in the file, and they stopped doing that anymore. Plus, we're limited to 5, messages a lot today for the free version. So I strongly suggest you send an email. If you want to connect with me, send me an email. Say, Walt, I just sent you a connection request. I found out about you. I learned about you at the North Times Plano Career Focus Group. Would love to connect with you or something like that. And then I'll match those 2 to connect with you. And guess what you do after somebody connects with you? You send them a message saying, thank you for connecting with me. Okay, another follow-up. Other comments?
And I would say,
I just saw
I
one pop
always,
up online, I think from David Ramirez, just a question. Let's have access to it.
Yeah, Kathy's got one.
just tagging on to your thanking them. Let me know how I can connect you with my connections and help your job search. I mean, I don't ever want anybody to think I'm just there for me. I'm there to help everybody else. I think that's important to communicate.
Okay, David, you had a question? You put in the chat?
Yeah, I put in the chat. This is a question that I've been wanting to ask. So given the current environment towards DEI, how do you guys approach the volunteer self-identification question on a job application? Like, hey, do you, gender identification and race and all this stuff?
I was actually asked that question in an interview with American Airlines. I forgot exactly how it was phrased, but it was, basically, do you believe in DEI or how do you handle it or something like that? And my answer was, well, given that you're a worldwide company, it really depends on the company policy where you reside. So I kind of got out of it because I didn't know which way he leaned. And as you know, up until recently, the federal government was one way and the state of Texas was a different way. So my answer was, I rely on company policy. That way you're not showing your colors And it's truthful. You have to kind of be in line with the company, which may be different by state and by country.
That makes sense.
Anyone else have an opinion on that?
Well, I think he was asking, were you asking if we answer it? Is that what you were asking, David?
Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
his application, right?
Yeah, it is on the application. And
It's at the end of every application you do online.
yeah,
And you
sometimes I do it and sometimes I skip, but it's, it just, I always stay with the question, hey, if I don't answer, like, if I say I prefer not to answer to everything, like, will that impact my application and everything? Or,
probably not, but why would you want to do that?
I don't know,
You can't hide that. You can't hide that you have a Hispanic background, dude.
True. But it's not because of that, it's just that it says volunteer self-identification. Well, if it is volunteer, I may not want to do it just for the sake of not doing it. This is just me, but yeah.
I don't understand why someone would not want to do it. So please help educate me.
I do it 90%. I do it, but
We can take that conversation offline.
Yeah, we can do that.
So
Thanks,
my
everyone.
question is, why do you think it's on the application?
Well, the question I got it from most recently is because the current environment, like DEI and all of that stuff. So for me, it's trying to understand and gain clarity. Hey, do I still do it? Should I continue doing it or not anymore?
Are they sending a message in that question about where they stand on this issue? I mean, they wouldn't be asking if there was something in the company that they, are concerned about or apply or practice or whatever it might be, right?
Right, yeah.
So they want to follow some philosophy or policy or practice or whatever that they have by having you identify with that. I think their intention is good. I think the intention is, I want to address you the right way. I want to do the right thing, whatever it might be. But it seems to me it's fairly significant that if they ask that question, then I think there's some DEI practices and policies in that particular organization.
Got it. That makes sense. Thanks, guys.
I personally identify as old.
But
I'm
I do
heading
think
that way
that
too, so.
I do think that many companies, they just use a I'm going to call it generic
Kelly,
whatever.
you had a question?
I do. Do you want me to state it? I just have been getting these.
Kelly, did you have something in the chat window?
I did. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. I don't know that Walt can.
Walt, can you hear me?
Doesn't sound like.
Yes,
doesn't look like
we can hear you.
So far, so good.
Okay. I just keep getting.
If not, we can read it.
All right. From Career Builder or
Gotcha.
Zip Recruiter, I keep getting calls and emails and, we tried to reach you. They give you your phone number. They obviously have not called me, right? And
Okay, we're having trouble with our communications now.
I think we hear Kelly
Okay,
fine.
let me read your question, Kelly. We're having some problems. So our email saying we tried to reach you at my phone number regarding your application request for job title. Please send your resume to scam.
okay.
My question would be, did you actually apply to that job that they're referencing?
No.
If you did not, it's a scam.
What's the from address?
So if you really did apply to that job and answer a resume, great, supply it. In my opinion, if you didn't really apply for the job that they mentioned, they're looking to harvest your resume, represent you, and blast your resume out to some companies in hopes of getting a referral fee.
What else? We got some more time.
Just to stay on that topic a little bit, recruiters. I'd love to understand the tips and tricks, things you found that work well, how you use recruiters, both separate headhunters as well as corporate recruiters, to kind of help in your job search. So a lot of interactions. I don't know, they've always been optimal, so I'd love to understand what others are doing.
Okay, recruiters are not bad people. They have a job, and if it's not productive for them to do and accomplish what they want to do, they do not do it, i.e. like following up, right? Those sort of things. So Matt has done something on, let me ask Matt to take that over, because how do we connect with recruiters during a job search? So Matt, could you share that with us, please, sir?
So this was actually a question of the day in one of my networking groups at the South Lake recently, and of course I asked ChatGPT that question, and it gave me all the answers. Number one, LinkedIn. That's the number one way to reach out to somebody, especially locally. In your industry, if recruiter is industry specific, join LinkedIn groups is another big one. Networking events and job fairs, almost always there's going to be recruiters there. I always offer to take them to lunch. They never let me buy. They always say, no, you're looking for a job. I'm the one that's going to get the referral fee. So let's go to lunch. I had one 2 days ago with, who used to come here? Catapult. You guys remember Catapult being here a few times? The guy I was working with that was coming sometimes in person and mostly online left, and I didn't know it. Somebody else at the company reached out. She and I had lunch a couple of days ago, and we picked up right where we left off for two reasons. You always want to help somebody, right? Hope, South Lake mantra. So I've asked her to come and take his place at this meeting, and she's going to be here next week to help fill her pipeline as a recruiter. And because we had lunch and I offered to help, she's like, well, what are you looking for? And now she's watching out for me. Now she's scouring their database. I sent her my resume. Their ATS is going to match me up with anything that she comes across, right? So that's probably the number one way I personally, use them is I invite them to this group, and you guys are welcome to do that too. Hey, I'm part of North Dallas. Hey, I'm part of South Lake. What part of the DFW Metroplex are you in? Oh, you're on the Dallas side? Well, I think you should come and talk to us, and you don't have to stay for the whole thing, but we have this job lead section. You can come and listen and, talk about the jobs that you have available right then, and then drop off, which utilizes their time. No one has ever said no to that. And I give all of you guys permission to bring those people to us and let them join in, because it just helps everybody. If you offer to help them, they will go the extra mile for you.
I was listening to a presentation by a recruiter some time ago, and the recruiter got a thank you note from, the connection that was made and stuff like that. And that person indicates, says, you know what? So I got a thank you note. And so I told the whole office that, hey, we have to find this person a job. And it just came from a thank you note. Recruiters don't find us jobs. That's not their job. That's not what they do. They don't go out looking for us whatsoever. Some people say the recruiters, the agencies and things like that, who do they work for? They work for themselves. They do not work for anybody else. They represent a company. They're trying to do the matching and all that sort of thing, but they're in business for themselves, right? So how we can make their job easier and how we can connect with them. Talk to other people and say, here's a good recruiting organization, that's got a really good recruiter for me. Call in and say, who handles this particular area? Because they generally are divided by, industry or something like that as to who does that, and make a contact and get a connection in, that way. Having a referral from a recruiter in a recruiter organization is a pretty positive way to do that. Other suggestions?
Before we move on.
Yeah.
Couple more things on the recruiters. Mike, it's very important to continue to follow up with them and maintain contact. As soon as I have that lunch, as soon as I add them to my spreadsheet, I put something 30 days out in my calendar. Follow up with what's her name or what's his name. I do that every 30 days. Hey, just touching base. Just wanted to put myself at the top of your list. Sometimes I'll, say, hey, can I buy lunch this time? Especially if I go to their website and there's a job on it. You also want to leverage past job searches. Don't forget, in your last job search, pull up that spreadsheet, go through that list of recruiters and reach out to them. You may have forgotten something that you reached out to, 5 or 10 years ago in the last search. Okay.
Yeah, to kind of piggyback on our, highlight something that Walt said, I worked at Randstad a couple of years ago, as a recruiter and as a manager. And one of the things that the recruiters don't want you to know is they get a fee whenever they place you. So I got a good buddy at Randstad. He gets $200 every time he places somebody in what they call their professional division. Now, they also do a lot of warehouse where I need 14 people and you go grab 14 people and you're done. But these recruiters, a lot of times are getting paid. They want to place you. You just have to remember, and I know this is going to sound cold-blooded and I apologize, you are the product they are selling. It's not so much a personal contact or I'm Bill and I'm really going to help you as a person. You're a product that looks very attractive on the shelf and I can sell you. And there is part of that going on in the game. And as a job seeker, I don't know, I'm personally okay with it.
Hey, Jeff, guess who joined us online? Our fearless leader.
Good morning, everybody.
Country burger today, just saying.
Country burger, okay. I'll get out of here early so I can get there.
Hey, I have a question since you brought up lunch. Is it a rotation? Like every?
Yes.
Okay, so every first Friday you go to Country Burger?
No.
Oh.
It's a rotation of restaurants. They are close by, relatively, easy to get to well, I don't know if there's any restaurant that's relatively inexpensive anymore. I paid $3.75 for a glass of tea over at a barbecue restaurant yesterday. But anyway, we just rotate 4 or 5 restaurants as they come up.
Okay, so and there's no rotation. You just pick one for today.
There's no scheduled rotation other than I got like 5 restaurants. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever day of whichever Friday they fall on.
Okay, what are the 5? Jason's Deli, Mama's Pizza, Country Burger,
Dickie's Barbecue.
Dickie's. I forgot about Dickie's. Thank you.
Other questions? What's the big challenge you're having? What's the problem? I'll ask a question if something comes up myself.
I have a question.
All right.
Hello, are you able to hear me?
Oh, my question to you is, can you describe yourself? If I ask you, describe yourself to me, can you answer that question? Not that you don't have, I'm asking you to answer it right now. I'm just saying, can you answer it? Can you tell me the kind of person you are? Anybody want to try answering that as a practice? Well, they're going to ask it in an interview.
Muthu raised his hand.
Muthu, okay, Muthu. Let's see if we got a good connection with you. Are you there, Muthu?
Can you hear us?
You're muted, and I don't see all I see is your picture. I don't see your video. Muthu. All right, we'll go to someone else. Who would like to volunteer to practice answering that question?
All right.
Yeah, we're not here to grade. We're just here to help.
Okay. Yeah, so when someone asks me to tell me about yourself, I have sort of these 4 points I go through.
Okay, I just want to know one.
Okay.
I just want you to describe yourself.
Okay, I mean, I'm an electrical engineer, that's.
Okay,
But you know, to describe myself, I would say, what I normally say in an interview would be, I was born and raised in, the Kansas City area. I got my engineering degrees at Washington U in St. Louis, both a bachelor's and a master's. And I've got about, you know, decades of experience in electrical engineering, at companies like Texas Instruments, Motorola, and Raytheon. And my current situation is I'm currently looking for a new opportunity in electrical engineering, design verification. I've also written a lot of specifications.
okay. So let me ask you something more specific.
Yes, yes.
I don't want to know what you've done.
Okay.
I don't want you to tell me your experience. I want you to tell me about the person. Just about you. What is it about? What kind of person are you?
I guess I'm a person that is much more focused on things more than people. I think I've got more skills with things like computers and software and circuits.
Okay.
But you know, I understand that to be productive as an electrical engineer, you have to have skills. So I.
All right, I got one thing from you. Let me interrupt you, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Focused on things. That was one description. You got any others?
Okay.
You have to stop and think about these. The reason I asked this question is we ought to be able to do this when we are talking to people, whether it's networking, interviews, or whatever. I'm this kind of person.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to help you with that.
Sure. I mean, you know.
Huh?
I'm an analytical person.
All right, analytical.
Yes. At least that's what they tell me in my interpersonal.
Oh, that's great. People tell me I'm analytical. That's wonderful. Yeah.
As a result, it's kind of driven me into certain hobbies. I really like crossword puzzles. I love doing. I'm a Sudoku addict. You know, I like. You know, I got hobbies in music.
Okay.
But I really like electrical engineering. That's sort of the focus of my life.
Well, thank you a lot for volunteering. I appreciate you doing that. And so the focus is coming to a idea of saying, if I were to ask, who are you? When you say I'm an electrical engineer, I say, no, that's what you do. That's not who you are, right? To differentiate that.
Sure.
And so if we identify our job as us, if we lose our job, we lose our identification with ourselves. So if I see a lot of technical roles, then I look at the job descriptions, it's all things. I mean, there's no soft skills listed or anything on there whatsoever. And it's, oh, well, that's what I'm looking for. So I would like each of us to say, I'm able to describe, I'm profit driven, I'm customer oriented, I'm focused on what, these kind of things. So I can talk about me as an individual. And then is that the kind of person they want in this kind of role? And how does that match that role? So thank you for volunteering to go through that exercise. Well, does that help anybody? Move through, you're back on?
Yeah, sorry. Actually, I got on call. So I held up. Sorry. Okay, I have a question. You are asking about any questions, right? So my question is how to get more interview calls, the first part.
How do you get?
How to get more interview calls, recruiter calls?
I still don't understand.
How do you get more calls?
Oh, recruiter calls.
Recruiter calls, HR call, recruiter calls.
Call them. If you want more calls, I'm serious.
They will not
I'm
call.
serious. To my point a minute ago, if you want more calls from them, call them more. Call them every 30 days and say, and check in. How you doing? Just checking. Hey, I got this new skill. I got this new cert from LinkedIn Learning. Would you like to get together for lunch again? Don't overtly say, do you have a job for me? That's not their job. And as always, offer to help them. Is there any, I don't think I mentioned this a minute ago. I often offer to help them fill a hard to fill position.
Okay.
I'll say, if you have got a position that's been out there for a long time, I am offering you my network. send me the JD. I will help you fill that position. They love that. You're helping put money in their pocket, and they will work harder for you.
Something that I heard this as I was heading out the door. Someone kind of mentioned this is an old technique. This is an old tactic, but it still works. Put a profile of a monster career builder on Indeed, and
Voice is breaking.
keep your LinkedIn up to date. And it does every week. I get all kinds of calls from recruiting firms. For example, I do supply chain. I get calls from IT Brigade every single week. They're fresh me electronically. And it's an old technique I was doing back when I was a career connection, and it still works.
Can you guys put that on the chat, because we couldn't understand what he was saying. It was choppy.
Can you hear us?
And I think you update your profile everywhere, every week was the gist of it. Is that
Agree. Okay. Well, let's wrap it up for today. I appreciate everyone's participation. Let me get back and say, you know, we go. There we go. Everybody hear me okay? Am I online? All right, good. We'll try plan B next week on our technical situation here. But I appreciate everybody participating. Hope we got some good information and ideas from it to help us in our job search. If you've got one main thing that you learned that could help you today, then this would be a very great, successful time that we spend together. So let's spend just a couple minutes. We talked about some web pages in the careerdfw.org webpage. So if you go up to that, one of the resources that's available on that of the many is the calendar. And if you click on the calendar, you can find something that looks like this. You can see all the different numbers of groups. And Jeff has put all this together. Look at all the different categories. So you can search by category, as well as look at everything on the calendar. He's got them color coded to the different categories that he has. This is like in the graphic view. And then if you want to look in the agenda view, here's it shows by the day. You can click on any one of those entries. It'll bring it up, and it'll show you some information about that. So this can help you do your research on what companies or what job search groups that are out there that you can begin to look at and say, is this something worthwhile for me to take a look at by going through the calendar? Okay. Also, if you go to the Career USA YouTube channel, we have recordings out there, and Jeff has put many recordings, and all this started, you know, right when COVID came along, started recording a lot of these groups. He's got them in categories, so that if you want to see something on the networking, here's a networking list. And if you just click on the icon, you'll start getting a recording. So you want to click on view the full playlist, and it'll look like this, and you can start scrolling through that to find a particular topic that you might want to listen to the recording. You'll get also some information in the beginning of the first half hour or so as our administrative things before the actual presentation begins, but you might find those very, very helpful that are out there. And if you want to say, gee, instead of going to all these meetings to find out about a topic, here's a recording of something that can help us really use our time wisely, okay? So what's coming up next week? The LinkedIn Tuesdays are 1 to 2:15. They're on Zoom every week. You can go look at the 1 o'clock on Tuesdays on the careerdfw.org calendar, get the Zoom information. Those are also rotating speakers. The reason we put this up is Jeff used to lead all of these groups. He did Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. And so we still mentioned that they're in. And Jeff is now hosting and doing the LinkedIn groups on Tuesday. So Ruth Lipsky is on this week with the LinkedIn tools for job seekers. Next Wednesday, of course, is the practice interview, the pit crew. We're in person on every week, every Wednesday, except the fourth Wednesday of the week where we're on Zoom. I'm a panelist. That's why I use the word we. You can see the address on the card. It's at Christ United Methodist Church, in Plano. We are at the church here today, so we meet here on Wednesdays and on Fridays for that. So, next Friday, Paula Asanoff has put together a new presentation on a career story. So she's gonna share with us what she's put together with that. You're welcome. It's got a little bit new. It's a little bit of twist on something about your career and how you can go through doing that and making that simplified and effective. So be glad to have you share with Paul Asanoff. All right. So the following Friday with that, I've got a 6-step process on how to manage an effective job search. That is almost confirmed. So it might change, but right now that's where it stands. And then the following Friday, Minna Brown's going to talk about the 1-page bio. I'll very, very strongly suggest that we have a bio. So she's going to talk about that. All right. So reminder, Country Burger for lunch. It's interesting that there's no ham in a hamburger, but they have good burgers and good chicken and some good salads and some good other things there that's available to us. So thank you very much for joining us today. If you'd like to join the mailing list, there's a QR code on the right so that you can get these announcements and the follow-up emails that are coming forth. And if you would like to get a job and donate to us to the career focused group, that's a way you can do that. God bless you, everyone. Have a great weekend and a great week next week. Thank you, Walt.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much.
How many are going to lunch?